and welcome to Scent Workshop. My name is Lindsay, and today I'm going to teach you how to use our custom candle kit. So I'm going to start by putting my candle wax on a heat source, and at home I just use a normal kitchen griddle, an electric griddle, or you can also use a double broiler on the stovetop if you prefer. But I'm going to set my griddle at around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to take my bag of wax. So this bag of wax contains 1 pound of soy wax, so it's enough to make 2 candles. So I'm just going to make 1 candle today, so I'm just going to kind of cut the bag in half with my fingers just to estimate it. I'm just pretending that I don't have a digital scale here. And I'm going to pour half the bag of wax into the pot. And then I'm going to set that on the heat source. And while it's heating up, I'm going to teach you guys how to do the perfuming part of this, or the custom scent part. But I'm also going to add a digital thermometer to my pot just so I can keep an eye on the temperature. I want to heat it up to about 185 to 195 degrees before I remove it from the heat source. So I'm just going to let that sit, and I'm going to stir it every couple of minutes. But meanwhile, I'm going to teach you about the custom scent part of this. Alright, now I'm going to teach you how to make your own custom scent while our wax is melting. So Scent Workshop is basically a reiteration of a perfuming school that I attended in Paris a few summers ago, where I learned the fundamentals of perfuming and really fell in love with the art of aromatherapy. And I thought it would be really great to create a space and then eventually these kits to help people feel exactly the way they want at home. So the first thing to understand about fragrances is that a lot of the terms are named with musical terms. So we have scent notes, which are individual elements that go into your fragrance, like rose or sandalwood. And then we have accords. And accords are like a chord in music, where if I were to play the G chord on a guitar, it's going to sound different than if I played a C chord. And all of these accords help you feel different ways. So each accord has like a different characteristic. So the floral accord is going to help you feel very romantic and feminine, whereas the woody accord is going to help you feel more masculine or grounded. So what we've done with these kits is arrange them by feelings, and we took our knowledge of accords and arranged them throughout the kits to take the guesswork out of it, to make it easier for you to purchase something that's really going to make you feel the way that you want to feel. And our goal is to help you use aromatherapy to create a scent with intention. Rather than just creating a random scent that smells nice, we want to help you create something that's really going to add value to your day and help you feel exactly the way you want to feel. So the next thing to understand is how top notes, middle notes, and base notes work. And this is more important if you were creating a perfume, but it also plays a role in the candle making process. So the thing to understand about top notes is that they're very delicate. They're from things that are very delicate in nature, and they're going to evaporate really quickly. When you spray a perfume on you, you'll probably notice the top notes right away because they are designed to evaporate quickly, and they last for about the first 30 minutes. After those evaporate, you're going to smell the middle notes, or the heart of the fragrance, and those last for about 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And those are from things that are more dense in nature, like heavy florals or fruits. After those evaporate, then you're left with the base notes. And base notes are things that are from very dense things in nature, like woods. And those tend to last for about an hour to 4 hours. Now, again, it's not as important to understand that for candle making, because it's not like you're lighting the candle and then blowing it out to see what happens to your fragrance, right? But it really helps you understand how to create your own custom scent. So what I recommend is start with the heaviest note in your collection first, like your base note or a middle note, and then layer the lighter things on top of that. If you do it that way, it's going to be a lot easier to create something that you really love. If you were to not do it that way, your scent would kind of fall apart if you added like a base to a bunch of floral notes, for example, which tend to be top notes. So first of all, take your kit and smell all the fragrances that are in your box and figure out which ones are your favorite, or figure out which ones you think are going to go well together. Frankly, all of the scents that are in your kit are designed to be used alone or blended with each other, and they're really foolproof, where you can pretty much blend anything together in your box and it's going to smell pretty good. So I grabbed cucumber and water lily just because I'm curious. what they would smell like together. I'm gonna give my wax a quick stir here. All right, so I've got water lily and cucumber. And what I'm gonna do is first label my cups, 1, 2, and 3. And then on my scent notes card, I'm gonna write cucumber and water lily, because that's what I'm working with. And you'll notice that your scent notes card has a column for fragrances and then columns for formulations 1, 2, and 3. And basically each of those columns corresponds to one of the cups in front of you. So again, I'm going to start with my heaviest note in my collection. I've got a middle note and a top note. By the way, you can have any arrangement of notes you want. You could have all base notes or all top notes. It really doesn't matter. It just helps you figure out which scent to start with. So I'm going to start with my cucumber because that's a middle note. And for candle making, when it comes to the fragrance, we need 1 ounce of fragrance to add to 1 8-ounce bunch of wax, basically, to make 1 candle. So 1 candle equals 1 ounce of fragrance. When it comes to candle make or the fragrance part, if you have a digital scale at home, you can use the notes accordingly, and you can make pretty intricate recipes using math. But I don't have a kitchen or a digital scale for this video, so I'm going to instead use this measuring cup that's in the kit. And the measuring cup has little marks on the side that show you basically the measurements of the ounce down to 1/8 of an ounce. So because of that, I'm going to use 8 drops total in my cup to come up with my recipes. So I'm going to take 1 drop of cucumber, add it to my cup, and then I'm going to put a tally mark next to formulation column number 1 on cucumber. So it notes that I've got 1 drop in there. Then I'm going to take my water lily, add 1 drop of that to my cup, add another tally mark for water lily, and now I'm going to smell them. And it smells good, but the cucumber is definitely stronger in that mix, and I kind of want to balance it out. So I'm going to go back to the water lily, and I'm going to add, I'm going to go with 2 drops of the water lily. So now I've got 1 drop of cucumber and 3 drops of water lily. And I really like that, actually. So I'm going to set that aside for now, and I would go on to cup number 2 and try a different ratio of the scents. If I liked that or didn't like it, then I would go on to cup number 3 and try another ratio. And again, you can use just these 2 scents, or you could add another one into it. For candles, we recommend using 1 to 3 scents for your fragrance, because if you add all of the scents in your box, it's going to smell perfumey and not in a good way. So I'm going to stick with this formulation of 1 drop of cucumber and 3 drops of water lily, and that total equals 4. And since I want to stick to like 8 drops just to be able to use these little measurements on the side, I'm just going to double my recipe. So instead of 1 to 3, I've got 2 to 6. So I've got basically 1/4 cucumber and 3/4 water lily. So I'm going to replicate that into this cup now. I'm just going to take my cucumber, and I'm just going to fill this cup until it reaches like the 2nd tally mark on the side. And then I'm going to fill the rest of it with water lily. And since there's 3/4 of an ounce of water lily in here, or in my recipe, I'm just going to dump it instead of use the dropper. And now I've got 1 ounce of fragrance, and once my candle wax is ready, then I'll add this to that. So stay tuned. So my timer on my beeper on my thermometer just went off, so that means that my candle wax has reached 185 to 195 degrees Fahrenheit, and now it's time for me to remove it from the heat source. So I'm just going to take the thermometer guy out of there and remove the pitcher. I'm going to turn off my heat source. And now I'm just going to wait until my candle wax cools until it reaches about 135 to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. I could add the fragrance right now, but if I did that, all of the fragrance would really evaporate faster than I would like it to. If I let the wax cool down, I can trap the fragrance in more when I add it when it's cooler. So I'm going to wait about 15 minutes or so until it cools down, and then it'll be time to mix. Okay, welcome back. And now my candle wax has cooled to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's ready for me to mix my fragrance in. So I'm going to take, again, my 1 ounce of fragrance that I measured into this little measuring cup and add it to the wax. There. And now I'm going to take my stir stick and I'm going to stir the wax for a good 2 minutes. Now it's really a good idea to time this out. Use the timer on your phone or a kitchen timer, but the longer you stir this, the smoother your wax is going to turn out on the top of your candle. So that's really important, especially if you're beginning. And I'm going to stir this for 2 minutes exactly. And we're going to pretend that I did that in the interest of time. So I'm going to stir just a little bit more. And now it's ready for me to pour into my candle jar. But first, I'm going to wick my jar. So I'm going to take the wick and take the little pull tab off the bottom and place that down into the very center of the container, as much centered as you can possibly get it. And press down firmly too to make sure that the wick doesn't come off. And now I'll pour the wax in, and I'm going to fill it up to that fill line. You'll see what I mean when you look inside your tin. And I'm going to have just a little bit of wax left over, and that's okay. Normally what we would do then is just take your leftover wax and pour it into the trash can. You definitely don't want to put this down your sink because it's going to cause a lot of plumbing issues once this wax cools. So definitely pour it out into a trash can and then just wipe it out with a paper towel. You can also dab a little bit of rubbing alcohol onto a paper towel and wipe the inside of the pour pitcher out, and that's going to remove any of the scent left over. So meanwhile, now that my candle's poured, I'm going to center the wick. Now you can use either the wick bar that's included in your kit, or you can use a clothespin. The wick bar is pretty self-explanatory. You set it on top and then pull the wick into that little crevice in the middle. I'm going to show you the clothespin way because this is my favorite way actually. So I'm going to take the wick and just hold it straight, open the clothespin and set it on top and let it close and just make sure that it's right in the center of the container. And that's it. So now that my candle has been poured, I have to let it cool for about an hour, and that'll allow it to set up, and you'll notice that the top of your candle is going to be white or off-white by the time it's finished. And once it's done, it will look like this, of course, like a candle. And to clip the wick, just take a scissors, and I'm trying to figure out, here we go. You're going to take the scissors and just slide it across the top, and make sure that it's at least 1/4 inch above the surface, and snap. And now your candle's done, and you're ready to add the label. And one other word of caution about your candle: your candles have to cool for at least 3 days before you can light them. I know that's a big bad news, but if I were to light the candle right away, it would just fall apart as quickly as it came together. So it's a really good idea to let it sit in a cool place for 3 days and let it really get solid, because the longer you let it sit, the slower it's going to burn. So thanks so much for your time, everybody. I hope you have a great time experimenting with scents and creating something that's really going to make you feel the way that you want to feel. And I hope that you enjoy the process as much as I do. Bye.